Hello, and welcome to Manifesting with Ari Mac. I'm your host, Miss Ari McIntyre, spiritual life coach and astronomer, all intuitive with a special insight that's just from spirit above. I don't tell you your future, I help you navigate through it. See, the stars are going to have an effect on us, regardless if you believe in them or not. So, with my insight and guidance and many moons of experience, I help guide you through the muckety muck so that you can actually manifest what you're asking for. Listen, God gave us five senses, right? Do you know how to use them? Do you even trust them? That's all I'm saying. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about revealing Mercury retrograde. Now, let me start by saying Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year. 3 to 4 times a year. Okay. So, it's a cycle that naturally takes place, regardless if we like it or not. And Mercury being closest to us affects our way of thinking. It affects the satellites, like they're actually being pulled away from the Earth's gravitational pull. So it slowly creeps up on us. Did you know we're like 99.9% water, right? So we're like water masked in a little package deal with this little skin. And then we grow stuff outside, hair and nails to make ourselves look attractive. But pretty much we're water based creatures. Okay. If you cut, you bleed. You hear what I'm saying? So when you were born, you set everything up for certain energies to be available to you at a later time of your existence, right? Because you're born, you can't speak, you can't talk. Literally, you're a little helpless creature that your family and friends have to, oversee and take care of. Okay, that's your inner planets, your Venus, Mars, Mercury, and just how you love. When we get into the outer planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Saturn, even Pluto, these planets affect generationally how you interact and how you deal. Okay. So we have the inner planets and the outer planets. We're going to speak more specifically about Mercury today. Okay. Because Mercury is a slippery slope that you can get on. It's slippery. Okay. Because Mercury deals with our outer, how we speak, how we think, how we engage. So it's one of those things that if you know what you're looking for or what you're trying to get away from, you're in the right place because this Mercury retrograde is in Sagittarius. Now, what does that mean? All right. Normally, Sagittarius rules Virgo, the Earth sign, and Gemini, the airport part of it. So it's ruled by Virgo and Gemini. These are the two planets that. These are the two signs, excuse me, that normally rule that planet. The opposite sign of Gemini is Sagittarius. Mhm. And the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces. When the Mercury is in that position, it's usually rough because it's not comfortable there. So that's like you going to the store and you think you're a size 6 and maybe you were a size 6 at one point, but you're more like a 12 now. So you're making yourself kind of squeeze into the outfit, if you know what I mean. And that's what Mercury in Sagittarius is doing. It's taking all of Mercury's communication and it's putting it at that fire because, well, Sagittarius rules fire. Okay. And they also got a birthday coming up. We'll talk about Scorpio in a minute. And so when Mercury is in the planet of Sagittarius, excuse me, in the sign of Sagittarius, it's going to conflict. It's going to butt heads. It's just the way that it is because the actions that Sagittarius would normally take, they can't. Then we got the sun. Let me get my notes out because I didn't want to forget this because we had some subtle changes too. And I thought, yay. So I'm doing the gap report right now. So I did it twice because I want to make sure I was right. So we got sun in Scorpio. We know what Scorpio is, right? We got Mercury in Sagittarius doing a retrograde. So Mercury is in Sagittarius going backwards. Then we got Venus, planet of love, also in Scorpio. So that's the sun and Venus in Scorpio, two prominent planets that affect our Earth immediately. Then we have Mars in Sagittarius. Now Jupiter is in Cancer, right? And that's another water sign, but it's going retrograde. It just started on the 11th. And Jupiter's retrograde makes you reevaluate your expansion, like what you're trying to do, and also luck and anything dealing with legal. Okay. Then Saturn, the taskmaster, that's like the one who tells us what we can and cannot get away with. It's like the father of the zodiac. Okay. That falls into Pisces right now. and it's also retrograding. So that means Pisces are feeling like they just getting their little feelings hurt and going backwards and forwards. And yeah, pretty much you are. And then you have Uranus. Uranus has been in Gemini for quite some time, going backwards. It just switched into Taurus. So Taurus is, I'm gonna help you out because I know you don't like that instability. You just Taurus likes it natural and consistent, and with Uranus being unexpected, it screws up your concept of scheduling and how you want things done. Taurus, it's okay. All the Earth sign gets affected, but it being in Taurus, Taurus gets that extra kiss, mwah, right? And then we put Neptune, which is naturally illusions, spirituality, that kind of thing, in Pisces. It's natural planet, also going retrograde. And for shits and giggles, we took Pluto, the little dwarf planet that's run by Scorpio. That's what the sign it normally falls in. And we kept that in Aquarius. But thank God it is moving forward. So thank God for small favors. Okay. So when I look at this kind of energy, first of all, the sun, Venus, Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter, and even Saturn are all closer to us. So we're going to feel that energy. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, we're going to feel that in generational energy because it takes longer for those planets to move around. So that's like a slow little whip ass. You know what I mean? So wherever those planets fall in your chart, they're talking to you. Okay. So you got to figure out how to engage with that. Now, when I look at something like this, I think to myself, first, it's going to be going on to the 29th of this month. I'm going to say it again. It ends on the 29th of this month. So retrogrades are in full effect, but Mercury retrograde will be ending on the 29th of this month. Thank you, sweet spirit. It'll be right after Thanksgiving, and you probably be ready to take a break from some people and probably run like hell from them because you're going to be like nerve shot to shit. And I get it because we have this fire sign, right? And a planet of communications, and we can't communicate effectively. All right. And I got notes for every single sign, especially if your Mercury is in that sign. So just take what you can. It's just a suggestion and some insights, and enjoy yourself. Now, I would ask you guys to hit the hearts. Give me some hearts. Give me some love, because this information I'm giving you is from my heart. All right. And just showing me a little love in return would be greatly appreciated. And maybe share the video, like and follow. I'm on all social medias, but just, let's get this party started. Edwin, is that you? Hey, Edwin, I haven't seen you in a long time. I hope you're having a blessed day. All right. So don't forget to hit the likes and give me some hearts. Okay. Show me some love. How do we stay sane? Well, I have a few notes for each sign. Okay. And the notes, I really went through them like 3 or 4 times because this retro made me a little nervous and I had to make sure what I was saying was correct. But the thing about the universe is they don't put you in a peril. They give you opportunities for growth. I know it sounds crazy the way I'm saying it, but if you think of it as opportunities to grow, as opposed to I'm being challenged and they're trying to kick my ass, you'll have a better mental time dealing with this. Because Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's a fire mutable sign. Okay. And what that means is it's going to change with whoever and however it's interacting. Okay. So when you look at yourself, and I'll get to you in a second, Miss Taurus, and guys, leave your sign in the chat, and I will try to give you guys some info. Okay, but like and follow and share because that's the best way for us to keep this going. All right, keep this energy. Anyway, okay. So when you are dealing with fire, okay, that's my Leos, my Aries, and my Sagittarius. Is you guys rule action. So Mercury is a thinking position, right? You want to think it out, think. You can't do that. So the best thing I would suggest for all my fire sign people is shake your booty. You need to get out and get some exercise. You need to move around. You need to make sure you're dissipating that energy because otherwise you may feel like hurting on the inside, like your kidney hurt, your ass hurts, your sling hurt. You know what I mean? Like you're tripping because you're tripping and you are tripping. See, that's the part about truth, because that's the other thing about Sagittarius. It's a very truth-seeking sign. Now, I happen to have the lovely pleasure of being reared and grew up with a Sagittarius mother and a Leo father and an Aries brother. And I've said this before on the show. That is a lesson that is very rare, and I held my own. I'm a water sign. I'm a Pisces. So I like to talk and be held and discuss. No, my family was about action. They said we're going to do something. They did it. If it didn't happen, they tell you why. And it was more of physical activity than the emotional side. I'm not saying we didn't love each other. We still had a lot of good times. I still have fond memories, but I do remember very clearly how much we moved when we did stuff. We just didn't sit still. My dad was an aerospace engineer. My mom worked for the phone company, and so we were active. We were active, 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 and I appreciate that because it made me active as I got older. So when you look at a fire sign in the Mercury, everybody's got emotions. I don't think we can play like we don't. And then we have Scorpio. And I'm not saying in a negative way, Scorpios, because I love you. I love Scorpio. Let's be clear. Love it. Okay. But you guys are emotional as all hell. You pick up on something, you hear something, you get something stuck in your head, and then boom. And on top of it, your psychic is all hell. I mean, Scorpio's just like, So if you got placement with Venus in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio, Moon in Scorpio, okay, Venus or Mars in Scorpio, you're going to be feeling this retro because your senses are crazy high. Like you can pick up on things and you don't even want to. It's the truth. You're like, well, how, what? Okay, because the universe has this way of saying to us, hey, listen, all right, in order for us to move forward, you got to participate. You got to be a part of, and you got to, contribute on some level. You got to contribute. All right. And that could just mean being kind, right? That just means if you have something that doesn't mean too much to you, let's just say clothes, okay, something like that, you'll give them to somebody else who needs them because you don't need them, okay? That kind of love, that kind of peace. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't need to overextend yourself. And I'm glad that you're listening, humble peace. I'm glad. Let me know what sign you are, okay? Because we need each other, guys. And we also have individuals in our homes, families, and communities that also need healthy guidance. That's the truth, guys. They need healthy guidance. And sometimes that doesn't come in the form of you just having a talk or you just hanging out. It comes in the form of you actually observing what the heck is going on. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? How is this going to affect me? What direction should I go in? These are very important steps for not only maturity, but structure. Mhm. Because most of the time we are feeling something, but we don't know how to initiate it. If that makes any sense, we don't know how to put it in a context where we can do something or feel like we have permission to do something. And I'm telling you, forget all that shit. Let that go. It's time for you to go in, okay, and really come up with some healthy boundaries because it's okay to feel and it's okay to have disappointment. I was talking to my daughter today that a lot of times when you start a new project or you're putting yourself into a new position, you have to be humbled. You have to be humbled. So you could be the smartest guy or girl in the room and be number one on everything. And then you start a new job. And even though you wanted the job, you thought it was interesting, you have to go into an entry level position, which means you enter the building and do your paperwork. You enter the building and meet your staff or your crew. You enter the table and you wait to see who plays what position. You know, a good manager comes in to be a part of something. A dictator wants to come in and take something. Does that make sense? So, right now, we're all being asked as people, especially with this Pluto in Aquarius, to dig deep within our spiritual being to see what we need to discover, what we need to do better at. All right. And it's not involving putting somebody down or making somebody feel like poo poo. It's not, because that's not a way, guys. I'm being real honest. When you start off an attitude without gratitude, you're already stepping into the negative. And it's pretty gosh darn hard to get out of there. Why? Because you are already attracting more of that same energy. Yeah, because you're already deciding, oh, well, this is going to be this and this is going to be that. Until you do a little research, just a little research or a little, I don't know, asking around, maybe even paying attention, which is what I recommend highly to your community. And your community, guys, could just be your next door neighbor. It could be the girl at the grocery store. Okay. It could be the guy that helps you at the bank. Okay. It could be your coworker. Whatever it is that you consider to be your village, this is who I'm talking about. It's not about making these grand gestures. It's about putting forth that positive energy because like attracts like. And I like to think when this retro shows up, it's revealing to you Well, maybe your ass shouldn't be with them. Maybe these differences are valid. Because I always remember my grandmother said to me, the sweetest revenge is to live well. Take care of your body. Treat yourself with respect and dignity. Okay? Ask others to do the same for you. Okay? These are things you can do. You can do it, guys. Ah, hold on. This is not doing what I wanted to do on my tiki taki. I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying to learn all these things and implement them. And sometimes I just want to pull my hair out of my head. But anywho, I digress. My grandmother told me living well is the sweetest revenge because they may have more money. They may think they have more properties. Hell, they may even think that they're running you, but they can't own you. They cannot own you. That soul that spirit gave you is your soul. And even if you try to give it away, it's still yours to give. And she always reminded me of look for the joy. Look for that little joy. Look for that smile. And here's what occurred to me, and I'm revealing this to you guys because I really, really, really want not only this show to grow and to create positive connections all over the world, but I also want you to go away with some food for thought so you can share this with others, okay? When my grandmother helped me to reveal how giving and taking and staying in balance with the universe perpetuates everything forward, I realized that by smiling at someone, by opening a door for someone, by just knowing somebody's going through a lot and sending them a positive thought, it initiates that energy. Okay? It shoves that energy out into the universe and it disputes the negative energy because for one light, it takes like 15, 20 darkness, something like that. Because darkness needs dark. You need to be defeated and you need to give up. For darkness to win, you got to give up. Yeah. You got to stop trying, stop making the effort. And I'm not talking like it's like you have some medical situation that's prohibiting you from doing stuff. No, as long as you're seeking help, you're going in the right direction. But when you get that help, initiate with that help. People can't do the heavy lifting for you. You got to participate. And I say to you as the giver, make sure you're seeing if the person is accepting of what you're offering. Okay? Don't get mad at somebody because they don't know how to receive. If they don't know how to receive, then maybe you need to either figure out a way to give better. Okay? Or you need to think about if it's something they can comprehend. You know what I mean? Like a baby, you don't give them fresh food. You whittle it down so that they can have it in their digestive tract. That's baby food. Okay? So nothing happens instantly. But see, the stars give you the storyline. The stars say, hey, check it out. This is what's coming up. All right. And I find it personally fascinating. I'm very fortunate, blessed, and highly favored. And I'm thankful for that. We created a community here in Los Angeles that I think is outstanding, just outstanding. And it's the love to see family and friends grow. And even when they're going through adversity, they don't feel alone. They don't feel like they're just stuck in the shit by themselves and there's nobody hoping for them and wishing for them. We do a prayer circle every week, and it's going to be a part of the package that I'm working on for you guys as well. And in this prayer circle, we pray for one another and we also ask for what we need to receive. Now, I have to honestly say that I've had two ladies that I consider to be kind of hard headed, and they're both earth sign, a Taurus and a Capricorn. Loveliest hearts will go out of their way to help you if they can and be salt of the earth. But man, oh man, the choices sometimes that they have made for themselves makes them want to go, ah. And I have to say, I have seen them both not only get through that, ah, because that's the boo-boo part. That's the shit, guys. You can't, that's the process. It is the process. You have to own that. And that's hard. Your ego, your pride, it sucks. It sucks because your energy does not want to be considered vulnerable. You may have pride, so you don't want to seem like you need anybody. And you may also be in such self-sabotage that you're not eating well. You're not sleeping right. You're constipated. I think emotional constipation is the worst. Because to be emotionally constipated, you know what I mean? To be emotionally constipated. I mean, like, you can't even move. You're it's emotional. You're literally stuck. And that's got to be a hell of a place to stay stuck, right? Because emotionally, we all need to keep moving and grooving, you know, drinking our water. Matter of fact, let me drink some of mine. I'm talking about awa. Let me not be a hypocrite. I have not met all my answers for today, so yay me. I'm working on it as we speak. But once you get into that flow of what you're doing and how you're contributing to the universe, it's an ebb and a flow where you start accepting and understanding, and you're a little bit more peaceful about the way you approach people. Now, I also ask that you look at your affirmation. What are you affirming to? Okay. Do you have positive thoughts about yourself and the person and situations around yourself? Or do you think everybody's kind of evil and must die? I gotta tell you, I saw this on TikTok, and I got a sense of humor because I believe Spirit has a sense of humor because he created me, and I think I'm funny as heck sometimes. Some of the things I come up with is like, okay, I wasn't even thinking about it, just shot through my brain. And she's a nun, or she's dressed like a nun. I don't know if she is a nun or not. I didn't verify. And let me tell you something. She talks about how you want to pray, but you also want a can of whip ass, and you got to figure out, which way to go. And she said something about uh, checking to see how much bail was while she was holding her Bible. I mean, she was saying crazy, crazy shit. And I have to tell you, it was the most refreshing creator I've seen in a while because it's true. The dichotomy is true. I'm trying to save myself on my bill. They talk to God. Okay, Humble. That's, Humble, what is your sign? You Scorpio? Some water in there somewhere? So we have that power of free will choice. And here's the beautiful part. You can use it however you want to use it, right? Because you have a certain allotted time for this body. And it's not against anybody. It's just the time and space. It's one of the fun things about being on Earth. We have history. I personally believe in reincarnation. So I think sometimes we come back here a couple of times, both as males, females, and all that good stuff. But that's another story. That's just my personal belief. And we know evolution's happening because some of us are a part of it, right? I mean, you think about 100 years ago, the internet did not exist. Bottled waters did not exist. Hell, cars didn't exist. And we've elevated to another level of actually flying, going out in space. I personally think the aliens are here already. I can't buy the bullshit that we're the smartest creatures in the whole universe. Oh, you're Aquarius. You're having fun, huh? You're reevaluating like a right now. Because anyway, so we have to learn to flow with that energy that the universe has given us and not flow against it to the point where we're fighting ourselves, because the struggle is real until you make it unreal, if that makes any sense. Like you get to a certain point where you just know what you got to do. You know what you need to be better prepared for. You know how you should address this situation. Now you got to execute the technique. And that's where I come in. Okay? Because sometimes you need that spiritual coach, right, to bounce off of, because you don't want to go extreme on anybody's ass, but at the same time, you need to make some changes. Yeah, that part. And you need support. You need support. Investing in yourself is a part of life. It's a part of life because that's the only way you're going to grow and change. Since you came out of the chute, day one, day second one, second in the seconds of the seconds, you started changing, developing immediately. And that's because divine design is giving you growth. All right. So use this time with this retrograde, and I got notes for each sign. I'm going to give it up in a little bit. For each of us to take a moment and be of thanks. Be of thanks. And ask the universe to give you strength, give you insight, and give you love so that you can continue to hit the next levels in your existence. How about that? How about that? So, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do you grow? Hmm. Well, guys, that's where the techniques and the repetition of affirmations, and of course aromatherapy. It's now we do. I'm a candle maker. Okay, also, and my candle making started off as a hobby that I did for myself until one day one of my clients came in and she was on her way to a baby shower, and she asked me because I was just pucking around, just I just found it to be very relaxing. After I've done charts and did my creative stuff, I like to do creative things. They're just fun for no reason. And she walked out with most of my candles and left me with like $75 or something. It was like, because I didn't think about it as a business. I was just trying to perfect what I was doing, pick the wax, pick the scents, that kind of thing. And so we created Candles by Ari. And the beautiful part is we have candles of the month to give you guys all a chance to explore, okay? And to have some fun, okay? So, vanilla, we're doing white this month, pure white. And each of the candles has an affirmation on it that's worked for many, 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 many moons. Many, many, many moons. Because I've been doing this for 20 years, okay? And so when you're burning something like a candle and you're smelling something like deliciousness, you're kickstarting your brain, right? To start thinking in a new angle. Okay? Do you rockers on how to make them? Not yet. Not yet. It's still a personal joy, and it's also my company now. So I'm doing more stuff, but I will consider doing that in the future. Broadcasting some candle stuff, a candle class. Absolutely. I don't know if how I pull all that off, but thank you for planting that seed. Appreciate it. So basically, you have to go within doing these retrogrades. I'm getting thirsty. Mm. Water, that cool, refreshing drink. Um, you have to go within and check yourself. Because, see, I know about the astrology stuff and all that good stuff, and I still am blown away by some of the things I still receive that I have to rely on. That's another thing about the retro. And we got several of them going on right now. Anything with an RE, do it, baby. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Relax, receive, recalibrate, reorganize. You feel me? See where I'm going with this? So we want, I want, the universe would like you to receive that goodness, right? But you have to be ready to receive it. You got to be open to what beautiful energy brings to you. It brings changes, both comfortable and uncomfortable. And that is a part of the program. Sometimes you will have to do things that you may not be interested in doing. And I'll tell you a story. It's metaphysical. My grandma told me, because you have to make sacrifices, but you have to be first willing. That's the big thing. Are you willing to use your will to do something that may be for the greater good or to benefit others, or because you need to grow through this? This is a big one. Okay. So there's a challenge. Maybe it's something you want on the other side of that challenge, but you got to deal with the challenge. Right. And I mean, wow. My grandma told me a story of a lady who was very afraid of ladders. She had big anxiety about ladders, about crossing them, especially going underneath them. Just something spooked her as a kid. It's just the way she thought. And it got to a point where they were going to certain places, especially at certain times of the day where things were being built. So there was ladders above and around, just because they're working. And she would have so much anxiety that my grandma said she wouldn't even leave. She would just say, "Yeah, screw it. We can wait. Not a problem." So my grandmother was more like, I think, a supportive person to a lot of her friends, and her nurturing ways um, instilled in me the importance of being kind to yourself and to others, especially when somebody needs it. Okay. So this lady had to go to a very, very important function. And wherever it was, there was some ladders involved. Don't ask me because I was a kid. But I remember her having major anxiety, like to the point where she was almost ready to like not go and blow everything off and say, screw it. And my grandmother did some prayers with her. And she did some meditation and because she was doing her hair, because my grandmother's a hairdresser. And she would do that to just help her relax and get her centered. And I'd be sitting there watching this lady's energy change from this compulsive green black energy down to, more pinkish and a little bit more lighthearted because she was relaxed. She was in a loving situation. And my grandmother asked her to just pray on it. Just pray on it. Spend some time really asking yourself, what is it? Do you want to overcome it? And how do you want to do it? So I don't know what the importance was of the situation she was going to, but I can tell you that this lady prayed because it was very important, whatever it was. And she put on her garb, she put on her stuff. She says, okay, let's go. And the place that she was going told them that there would be ladders out because of whatever they're doing. It's probably an art gallery or something because they have to hang stuff, heavy stuff too sometimes. So the lady gets her courage together and she gets with her husband and they go. And she's bracing herself because she's about to walk into this building. And she walks up to the building and there's not one ladder in sight. At the last minute, the facility thought it would be more attractive to take that out and continue their restoration, whatever they were doing later. So she walked up on her anxiety, her fear, that negativity, whatever you want to call it. And because she chose to just have faith and just, the doors were open. Boom. And that's usually how the universe works. But we got to get the courage together, that will, that free will to step into that den, and say, I mean, like, think about David and Goliath, which is a true biblical story. It's recorded, it's verified. And, you know, I'm thinking David was probably in his late teens, maybe early 20s, something like that, because he was the youngest of the boys. His mother didn't want him to do it. His mom was a prophet. She was a psychic. She said, please don't, please don't. They had their own internal battles. We ain't going to talk about that. Goliath was just a big ass dude. I mean, he was just a huge dude, like huge. Okay, somebody may be saying something nasty because it's saying it's filtered out your comments. So I don't know what that means. That's ticky tacky. Anywho, when I looked at that story, the first thing I thought was that Goliath was a bully because he was bigger than everybody else. He was picking on everybody else. And then I thought, good for David to having the cojones to stand up to him because everybody else was scared of his ass. They were just terrified. They were like, I ain't messing with him, give him what he wants, blah, 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 blah. You know, and they let him get away with it. They didn't organize themselves to go forth and do anything. But in that story, David took pebbles, which, everybody was like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That is a Goliath and you're taking a pebble. Think about that. He went with the weapon he felt comfortable with, and everybody else probably questioned it. That's your affirmation right there, finding what you need to go with. Like that's your, then you pick your style. David's was pebbles. You may like to write. Other people like to, you know, go for a run or go for a walk. I'm personally going to get into clay. I'm going to start sculpting. That's something I put on my agenda for 2026 because I think I enjoy the candles. They're beautiful and I love them. And the products is, but I like to keep enjoying, the discovery part of my life. So I'm probably going to start sculpting, but I'll talk about that later because that's 2026, which is only like 6 weeks, 8 weeks away, something like that. Can you believe it? 2025 is almost done. Hot damn. Anyway, going back to David, he had to pick his pebble, his preferred weapon of choice. Now, he didn't come out kicking, Goliath's ass. Okay? Oh, you did clay before? Cool. I'm definitely going to get into it. Maybe ask you some questions. And, David was like no hardcore, like I'm a soldier. He was hanging out with his family. He wasn't good shape. He was in good shape. He was decent. So Goliath knew how to fight. I mean, I'm sure Goliath came in with, I'm gonna kill this. I'm absolutely positive he did. And he probably laughed at him too, because he was scrawny compared to him. And then he had pebbles. And so Goliath didn't really believe that that would harm him. And it didn't work out for him. As soon as you start thinking you're going to take somebody down, especially when you're doing it with malice, you always have some weakness that's going to show up because your greed is not going to stop. It is never enough. It's going to do it. Mm-hmm. So, energy begots energy. So, once you start dealing with your energy in here, you're going to be a better person. So, look at your affirmation. What are you affirming to? What are you saying to yourself? And then aromatherapy. Now, aromatherapy is not only just scents and fragrances, it's food, literal food. Okay. So it's important that you eat well. A fruit and a vegetable every day is reasonable. A banana and a carrot, boom. Okay. A kiwi and, I don't know, celery, boom. Just work it out. Put it in a shake. But just try to make that effort. Even just an apple. Just an apple. Not even a big deal. An apple. Okay, an orange. I especially would recommend oranges because just orange, the color is so much about creativity. And then you have the fragrances that are associated with orange, because you can go savory, you can go sweet, you can go tangy. I mean, orange is like magnificent and it's got vitamin C. So it actually represents something on a chemical level that we actually need and is good for our bodies. Wow. Detoxing is important. You're absolutely correct, Humble. So when you're doing your affirmations, think about also what you're doing on your intake. Are you, drinking enough water? And you can tell because you're sluggish, you're tired. When I'm dehydrated, I don't feel like I'm as sharp. And hydration is just 64 ounces of water in a 24-hour window. That's it. 64 ounces of water. That's 8 cups of water. And just look at a cup and make friends with it. 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 before you go to bed. Okay, 2, 4, 6. And then adds another extra to that. I mean, just make it simple. Don't make it hard. When people tell me they don't like the taste of water, it gives me a headache. I'm like, I don't understand what that means. I honestly don't know. Hey, twin. Okay, so when you're looking at your affirmations and you look at your aromatherapy, I'm going to give you the astrology insight. And if you follow and okay, water tastes good, right? Let's do this together and share. And share. And guys, show me some love. Hit me, hit me, hit me. Show me some love. Pressure is your mom. Yes. So I'm just saying energetically, guys, I don't even know what that means. There's things popping up on TikTok that I do not know what it means, and I just have to look at it a little bit later. So when we're looking at aromatherapy, we're looking at affirmations, the astrology is the roadmap. It's like the little, hey, this energy's coming up, take it, don't take it. To me, it's like the weather. It just gives you if you should wear a waterproof jacket, a sundress, or should I just keep my sleeping clothes on and throw a big old coat over myself? Because if I'm going to go in and out and I don't have to do nothing but drive and come back in the house, I'm not getting dressed. I'm not putting on no makeup. I'm going to go back to bed as soon as I'm done with this. Okay. And I know myself. So, knowing myself is half the battle. Okay. And that's what we talk about here. Okay. With spiritual coach Ari Mac, Candles by Ari, because that's what we do. We created so many wonderful things. So check it out. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and start giving you guys information for each of the signs. Okay. I'm going to give you a little theme, and this is going to be going now through probably the next week. And we got for Aries, you need to do some second guessing. You need to slow it down. Slow it down a little bit, Aries, because you're moving too quickly, and this retro gonna make you trip up. Okay. Tauruses, I already told you to keep your house comfy. Well, now you need to go ahead and invite the positive energy you need in, So if you have somebody that's cool or you have something you've been wanting to buy, I would do that now because you need to rest. Okay. Aquarius is doing this thing with you, and you really just need to, because it's just going to be a lot of unexpected stuff because you're dealing with other things you have no control over. Okay. Then Gemini, miscommunications, Gem. So just double check, triple check, and maybe even write the shit down because people will say that you said it and maybe you did. I don't know, but you need to sort that out so you don't become weird. Okay. Then we got Cancer. I just see a lot of like you can't rest in your home. So whatever's going on, Cancer, because it's also doing the retrograde with Jupiter with you right now. It's time for you to start unpeeling the layers away and get into what it is that you're trying to get to. You know, get to the point already. Like make it happen. And then we got Leo. Leos, I need you to stand up. I need you to be the leaders. Okay. You have all that fire, and Scorpio loves Leo. I've known so many Scorpio Leo couples, it's not even funny. I think it's because they're both intense and they respect that, because they balance each other. So, Leo, can you step up and be like the leader, or at least start guiding? Because we need leadership and we need your voice, please. Okay. Then we got Virgo. Virgo, you got a lot of challenges at work. I just think something's going to be going down, and you just need to keep your records, make sure you are in compliance as best you can be, and don't quickly respond to shit. I'm waiting for Virgo. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, Virgo. I just see the challenges. It's got to be with dealing with mostly misunderstandings, because a lot of times I think you're a little bit too nice and maybe you don't clarify. So you need clarification now. Mercury is in Sag, so just be honest. What do you mean, basically? Then we got Libra. I really need you to focus on relaxing and rejuvenating, Libra. Your energy wants to get in and move around, and right now it's time for you to relax. Just chill. Just chill. Rejuvenate. Drink good drinks. Be around loving people. Just take care of you right now, okay, Libra? Because you got so much going on that I can see you just trying to overdo it, and you don't need to. Venus is in Scorpio, so just flow with it. Everything will work out. Everything will be fine. Then we got Scorpio. Now you're going to be experiencing some revelations, okay? Because Scorpio has got a lot of energy right now, and you guys like to dig really, really deep, okay? So you should be having some, I won't say religious experience, but definitely some clarification. Like some things should be going in your head. Like you should be seeing how things are placed and how things are flowing, because right now you are sharp as a tack. So use that ability, okay, Scorp, to just move yourself forward and be more observant, because everybody got something to say and you need to listen. Then we got our Sagittariuses. Now I need you to slow down before you make any big ass life choices. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Okay, this is my Sagittarius. I need you to slow it down before you make any big ass life choices, at least until the 29th of this month. Then after that, you can move forward, and the sun will be in Sag, so to give you extra juice. So I just see you moving so quickly, you may inadvertently overextend yourself, and then you're gonna be wrecking yourself. You're gonna be all pissed. So slow it down, okay? My Capricorn, it's time to do some reflections. Mhm. Okay, thank you, Miss Magda. Okay, it's time to do some reflections because it looks like with Saturn being back in Pisces going backwards, you have a chance to release any of that last little residue or things that you felt like of holding you back in all levels, in all levels. And by releasing them and recalibrating, notice I'm saying you're going to catapult yourself forward when Saturn moves into Aries. You'll just be right in the flow and you'll be like, yay. So do just, recalibrate it, reorganize it. Just look, okay, figure that shit out. And then Aquarius. Aquarius, you're interesting right now because you're learning to separate your mental aspects to what society is giving you. It's very, very interesting. You guys are doing like these deep reflections of what bullshit is, okay? And then what you don't want to receive from it anymore. It's very, very interesting. I have Aquarius people in my life, so I observe them, and they get real, not sinister, but quiet. They just get real, real quiet. And they're not sending out any signals, they're just chilling. Scared the shit out of me. I go ask them, you okay? Everything good? Because I don't mean no craziness. Because when they go into deep, deep, deep thinking, they're also contemplating on what to deal with, how to deal with you. And I want to be on their good side. So you got a lot of that mental congestion, Aquarius, that you're going to have to start separating your stuff from wherever you are in society, because I feel like you get so annoyed with everybody and it can't be everybody. Okay. And then Aquarius, I already said Aquarius, just, keep that balance, keep that balance. And Pisces, you should just do a pro or con list, pros and cons. Just do a pro cons, because you're in it now, Pisces. You know what needs to be done, but you're going to have to really honor thyself to allow it to manifest. So, and if you want more information about that, guys, hit me up, follow me, like me, let's connect, let's manifest together. How about that? How about that? Let's manifest together, because there ain't no party, but I love no party because the party is with me. Hey, okay, so there ain't no party like a dope ass party because the party is with me. Hey, so let's have some fun. Let's create a positive frequency around ourselves so we can do better and make our world a better place, starting within, just starting with you. So I hope that you dug this. I hope that you come back. I'm here every Thursday live at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And just remember, you are blessed. You are blessed. You're blessed. All right. See you next time. Bye. Bye.